Today's lesson is on how do we understand the Pythagorean theorem. The hypotenuse, C, is the longest side of a right triangle. The legs, A and B, are the shorter sides of a right triangle. If ABC is a right triangle, then A squared plus B squared equals C squared. This is the Pythagorean theorem. Take a second to copy down those notes and a picture of this diagram as well. The Pythagorean theorem only works if we have a right triangle. We know we have a right triangle if we have this box to represent the right angle, or if they tell us that we have a right angle. The side opposite the right angle, so if you're standing at the right angle, looking directly opposite that, is the hypotenuse. That will always be your C, or that will always be your longest side. These other two sides are legs. Those can be A and B. And it doesn't matter which one goes to which, it could go either way. So if you have a right triangle, A squared plus B squared will always equal C squared. Again, the A and the B could be either leg, but the C has to be the hypotenuse every single time. A right triangle is given below. What is the hypotenuse? Take a second to copy down the question and a picture of the triangle as well. So, if we have this problem, we notice that we have a right triangle. Since we have a right triangle, we can do A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Every single time we have a right triangle, we can always use that formula. So now, we have to identify what our A, B, and C are. Since my right angle is here, opposite my right angle will always be my C value. So that will be C is X, so I have X squared. The other two sides, it doesn't matter which one is which. So I'm just going to make this my A and 8 my B. So I have 6 squared plus 8 squared equals X squared. 6 squared is 36 plus 8 squared, which is 64, equals X squared. 36 plus 64 is 100, equals X squared. Now I take the square root of both sides and I get 10 equals X. So that means that the hypotenuse would be 10. And the second problem. A right triangle has a hypotenuse with a length of 32 meters. It has one leg with a length of 18 meters. What is the length of the other side? Express your answer as a square root, and then we're going to round our answer to the nearest tenth. So we're going to express our answers in two different forms. So take a second to copy down the question. Since the problem tells me I have a right triangle, I can use my formula A squared plus B squared equals C squared. My hypotenuse is 32, so that will be my C. So I have 32 squared. And then I have a length of 18, so that would be my A. I could have made it my B as well, but for my B, I'll just keep it as B since I do not know what that is. 18 squared is equal to 324 plus B squared equals 32 squared, which is 1024. Now I can subtract 324 from both sides. B squared equals 1024 minus 324 is equal to 700. Now, to get the b by itself, I have to take the square root of both sides. When I take the square root, I'm just left with b equals the square root of 700. So that is my first answer. Since it says to express your answer as a square root, I'm going to keep that square root in my answer. So I have the square root of 700. Now, the second part of the problem tells me to round my answer to the nearest tenth. That means I'm going to take the square root of 700. When I take the square root of 700, I get 26.4575, and then other numbers after that. If I want to round that to the nearest tenth, I look at this 4. After the 4 is a 5. So I can round that 4 up to a 5, and it'd be 26.5 meters. So that's my answer rounded to the nearest tenth, and square root of 700 is my answer written as a square root.